Hello, everybody, and welcome to Spiritual Successor, a comedy video game design podcast where we take your lovely ideas from all over the internet and turn them into the next AAA titles. I'm your host, AJ Hart.
And I am your other host, Blake Rea. Quick, AJ, question for you. What is the sexiest voice in Hollywood? And there is a correct answer to that. Actually, sorry.
Danny
AJ,
DeVito.
No. What? Hold on. Let me rephrase the question.
Okay.
AJ, really quickly, gun to your head. You got to make a decision. Who's the sexiest voice in video games? There is a
Willem
correct
Dafoe.
answer on this. William Dafoe?
Oh, wait, in video games.
In video games.
Is Willem Dafoe doing video games?
I would
Steve
imagine
Bloom.
so.
Steve Bloom's my final
it's me,
answer.
Steve Bloom. The clap of my ass cheeks is setting alarm. What is the quote again?
Wait, did Steve Bloom do Metal Gear?
I don't know. Steve Bloom.
I know Steve
Metal
Bloom
Gear.
primarily in video games as, or not.
Hi,
Grunt.
it's me, Steve Bloom.
He's also Spike Spiegel.
Oh, that's right. Was Steve Bloom?
Was Steve Bloom
You're right.
what?
Steve Bloom might be the sexiest voice in Hollywood because I type into Google Steve Bloom Metal Gear. What if Steve Bloom was Snake? If Steve Bloom was a voice Snake, I would jizz in my pants. So I think that's the stamp of approval from a random person on the internet. No, AJ, the sexiest voice in Hollywood is Lance Reddick, Zavala. He also voices the assistant guy in the Quantum Break series. That voice is fucking sexy and powerful and cool. He's just so fucking awesome, and I've been thinking about his voice a lot because I was looking over scenes in Quantum Break because there's apparently they're gearing up to do more Alan Wake stuff. They hinted at it in Quantum Break. Apparently, I have yet to play Control, but there's some Alan Wake-esque shit in there, and I was just thinking about it. I'm like, man, Lance Reddick is just like the coolest fucking guy. He's just so fucking cool, and like I would love to see him in more video games, but he's an actor. He's trying, and I think that's the only reason they were able to get him in Quantum Break, because it was like a hybrid of cinema, television with video games, and I love them for it. He was also in Fringe, if anybody's ever seen that.
I'm going to delete this if I'm super wrong and off the base, but Lance Reddick was in John Wick, right?
Yeah, he plays Charon. He's the hotel manager.
God, I thought so. Okay, cool. I'm very good and smart.
Casting idea, you're very smart. You're very special.
Shut up. Okay, referencing that is barred from the show.
All right. Let me dial it back a little bit. So we both love Hades. Hey, that game fucking rocks. I love that game. What if Lance Reddick was the live action version of Charon, the boatman from, like, Charon would have
just
to
goes
It'd be like, hey Lance, we have this role for you. It's it's just amazing character design. You're just like a really important character to, like, you're the guy who sells our main character shit. And Lance is like, all right, I'll take the job. What are my lines? Well, you're just gonna grr and say a lot. And Lance Reddick's, I'll take it.
Whether we wanted to or not.
Can I get
so
some...
when you said Blake, when you said AJ, check this out, I've got a great opening bit.
Yeah.
The bit was just going to be you fanboying over Lance Reddick.
Isn't that what all of our opening bits are?
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, they usually are
AJ,
just us being like, I'd really dig this right now.
AJ, we've talked about this. The first, like, 8 to 10 minutes of this podcast is just you and me time, bro. Just talking about the things we love.
We can just do whatever we want.
Do whatever we want.
Speaking of Hades really quick, can I unpack something with you?
Yeah, what's up, brother?
So as we all know, every character in Hades is just like, hunga, pretty,
horny,
handsome, pretty.
Yeah.
And we love looking at literally every character in that game.
Mm-hmm.
There is one outlier, though.
Which character? Because if you're going to say
Charon,
Dusa,
who's just a dead body. Well, also no, Skelly's definitely hot. Charon's the outlier.
Before I go to the Charon thing, I want to just say, Skelly, if you say he's hot, he's like hot in a Joe Dirt kind of way. Just like has weird, messy hair and talks funny. Outside of that, I don't know.
Hey, Blake, I just no, I can't continue this bit. I can't continue doing anything maybe after the sentence that I heard you say of, oh yeah, they're kind of hot in like a Joe Dirt kind of way. Do you understand how I'm never going to be okay again after that.
You're never going to
You can't just say that.
You're telling me you did look, this is how I look at anybody with a mullet, and Skelly kind of has that mullet look. I'm just
no, Blake, I can't look at you the same way for the phrase hot like Joe Dirt. I refuse. I refuse to accept Joe Dirt is hot.
I don't think he's hot, but everybody in that movie did, I guess. Like, also, I would like to preface this because I know I've mentioned it on the show before, but I grew up in kind of like a poor family. So we had like a limited amount of movies. So what my parents would do is they would just kind of keep the same movies on play throughout the day. Some of them included Spy Kids 2. That was cool. That's a fun movie. It gets really boring after the fourth time watching it in a row. White Chicks, Bible Man, and
and Joe Dirt.
And Joe Dirt was also one of them. So I have memorized that movie, whether I like it or not, because when you're just sitting in a house with nothing to do, you're going to watch Joe Dirt a lot. So anybody with a mullet is a Joe Dirt to me. And I look at Skelly, he's got like a fucking mullet. And I just like...
No, he doesn't. He's bald on top, dude.
No. He has a little bit of tuft of green hair. I refuse.
No. He's rocking the friar haircut, dude. He's rocking that I'm balding and refuse to accept it, so I just have a full, like...
You can have a mullet and be balding. Like, a mullet is not just the front ploof of hair. It's also, like, the back sort of stuff. Yeah.
Okay, hold on, wait. Because I know that the mullet, by definition, is business in the front, party in the back, right? We all know this. So what you're proposing
Bald
is that there
business.
are two forms... Yeah, that's what I'm getting. You're proposing that there are two types of the mullet. There is the mullet as we commonly know it, like the Metal Gear, right? Solid Snake's rocking like a young man's mullet. And then there's a mullet like what Skelly and Danny DeVito have, wherein if it's long in the back and bald, then you are rocking a senior's mullet.
A senior mullet. Yeah, I'd buy that.
A smooth mullet. A naked mullet.
A naked mullet. All right. Enough of that. Let's talk about Karen. I agree with you.
Actually, you know what? No, fuck Karen.
No?
Can we do our podcast now?
Okay. You got a submission for me, brother? Wait.
Yeah, I got a submission for
It's
you.
good time well spent. I think those 10 minutes, that's solid podcasting right there. Tell me about it. Tell me your first submission.
This comes from Caleb All Day All Bay Martin. GTA is to Saints Row as Animal Crossing is to... We need to create the Saints Row of Animal Crossing.
Okay.
Now, for those that don't know, Grand Theft Auto, we all know Grand Theft Auto. And then some people were like, oh, we can probably do a fun gangster game as well. And then they made Saints Row, and it was a decent success. And then they said, okay, we're going to do a sequel, but now it's going to be a little bit different. And so they made Saints Row 2, which was like a little bit kookier and a little bit sillier. And then they were like, we can go further. And then they made Saints Row 3, a game that begins with you wearing mascot outfits on your first bank robbery, and you can run around the town beating people with very, very large phallic weapons. Yeah, phallic objects. I want to try to do this being the least gross as possible. We're going to try to do this scientifically. I want to make a very, very crass Animal Crossing.
Okay.
Or maybe it doesn't need to be crass, right? Maybe the thing is that we just need to take it to its most extreme, right?
Okay.
Because Saints Row is just like Grand Theft Auto turned to like 11 teen.
What you know what's so
how do we make
interesting
Animal
about that
Crossing
is
more?
I feel like GTA has like GTA 5 feels closer to a Saints Row game. It's like weirdly you had GTA and then that influenced Saints Row and then Saints Row influenced like later GTA games. Like they built off of each other in like a back and forth way. Because like GTA 5 is pretty fucking wild, admittedly. There's like a lot of weird, like I never played it, but I watched my brother play it, and like some of the scenes in there is like you go on a drug trip and like and hang out with aliens, and then you just go into a skydive sequence, and also like there are those. It's kind of
there's
it's
a
not
lot
as
to
bad out
unpack
of
about
hell
like
crazy.
the artistic choices in Grand Theft Auto and the way that like every character seemingly is like a parody and an expansion on like the general shittiness of humanity. And like at the certain point in Grand Theft Auto 5, Michael feels like the only sane person in a world that is just like all mean and horrible nasty people. And we could totally unpack that if you want to.
Well, I don't think we need to. I think we know.
We could try to create the mirror that Animal Crossing will use to destroy itself.
Okay, so I guess it's a question of how do you make Animal Crossing wild? I think it's more vacation juice, definitely. I think you need to implement some sort of, because it's a game about survival and decoration. I feel like in a game where decoration is a mechanic, you can already just make the game as crazy as you want. Be like, hey, welcome to my island that is nothing but holes in the ground. Like, you can kind of capture that zany stuff already. So maybe it's more of like, I think the way we should be thinking about it is, who are new characters that come into the world and fuck things up?
Hey, Blake, time out.
Yeah, what's
I'm
up?
so sorry. You are lagging out so bad that I feel like I'm talking to an Animal Crossing character. Like, I'm getting like the beginning and end of every other consonant. You,
dude, I'm a method podcaster. I embrace the role. Okay. So what I'm thinking is
no, I can't hear you.
You can't hear me right now, like this. Oh, fuck it. Shit.
Okay, wait. That came through.
Okay,
but
all
yeah,
right.
that whole time you were talking, I could not understand a single thing. It felt like whatever was being said was being sent through an audio randomizer. It sounded like talking to an Animal Crossing in that like kind of way.
Okay. So what I'm thinking is I'll just kind of sum up what I was saying previously. I don't think we need to change much gameplay wise. I think what we should be thinking about is, who are the characters that are being added to the game. So is this like, this is like, let's say this is a sequel to Animal Crossing New Horizons, where you have islands. Is this basically you're discovering a new chain of islands, and then those inhabitants are coming over to your island and making things kind of crazy zany? Is this like a Mario X Rabbids situation?
It can't be like an add-on, right? Because this needs to be like a separate IP that is to Animal Crossing as Saints Row is to Grand Theft Auto. I want to build that same relationship. But you're right about like what do we need to add to it, right? Because Saints Row just said, oh, let's make Grand Theft Auto, but add this one thing. And I know what that one thing is that completely changed the entirety of the brand.
Purple dildos.
So I know what we need to add to an Animal Crossing game to completely change the brand and make it run in our own direction. Saints Row said, let's make Grand Theft Auto, but we're going to add this one singular homie. Johnny Gat. I say we take Animal Crossing and we create this entire thing and we add in one character. Johnny Cat.
Okay, you're on to something. You're saying we should introduce Johnny Cat. How does that affect? Is it basically? Yes. Oh my God! So wait a second.
Here's the big difference. Here's the big difference that Johnny Cat brings, right? The two big differences. One, Johnny Cat swears. And number two,
wait, hold on real quick. Can I?
Yeah.
Actually, no. Finish your thing, and then I'll add on to it. I don't want to interrupt you. Please continue your flow.
Number two, and this is the most important thing. This is what Johnny Gat brought to Saints Row that I think Johnny Cat will be able to bring to Animal Crossing. He brings to the world the first original sin: pride. Johnny Gat in Saints Row is a Superman amongst Superman. You know, you start the Saints Row 3 bank robbery scene and everybody's dressed up like who exactly? That's right. They're dressed up as Johnny Gat. When somebody asks, hey, why are you dressed up as yourselves? Johnny Gat looks at you and says, who the fuck wouldn't want to be Johnny Gat? And that's the energy that we need. That prideful, just pride, randiness, silliness, a little bit of fuck it. Let's go crazy stupid.
Okay.
I need Johnny Gat. in
AJ,
Animal
I have it.
Crossing as
I
Johnny
have
Cat.
I have it. 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 So this is going to be the party simulator game, like a party simulator game, and this is how we're gonna do it. You find out you've inherited this island, like Stardew Valley. You found out you inherited like a farmland, or Animal Crossing. You bought this island for yourself. You find out you have this island, and you find out there's a bunch of other islands in the area that all have these fucking amazing ragers. And the whole point is you're trying to build your island to be the best party spot. That means you're gonna need to find the best cocktail mixers, the best dancers, the best lighting technicians, the best DJs, getting them to your island and convincing them that it's a fucking hot place to be. Because just like you're trying to get the who's the guy with the guitar in the Animal Crossing series, you have to be like popular enough to get him to come to your island.
KK Slider.
You're trying to get your island so fucking partied and hornied and sexied up to get what's his name again? Cat? Johnny Cat to come to your island, and then that unlocks its own thing. So it's like you're competing with other people online to have the best party spot. So you still get all of those like design elements. You can be like, hey, how do you want to do this flower bed? Oh, turns out there is no flower bed because we need space for the DJ disco dance floor, and fuck flowers or whatever. So it's you're trying you have all those design elements, and you're trying to make it as wild of a party spot as possible.
Is it? You know what? What I think we're going to end up creating is, whereas Animal Crossing's charm is that it's very neat and tidy and very like charming in that sense, a little cottage core-y. This other game with Johnny Cat, you're creating a much more chaotic and wild simulator. It's going to feel much noisier, which I'm all for. I'm sick of peaceful farming, gardening life sims. I want a chaotic one. I want a wild one.
I wonder if you could do a thing though, because I think a lot of people, if we're trying to attract, like I'm imagining the Saints Row people were like, we want to attract the already existing GTA crowd to come to our game. So I'm when I talk to people who play Animal Crossing, they like the very tedious sort of repetitive tasks because it's very therapeutic. So what if you did like a day-night cycle to this game? So the day cycle is when you can invite new people or get contracts with DJs, or you do a lot of tedious work like cleaning up trash or collecting trash, because like if you collect bottles that were used during the party last night, that's how you get like money from recycling that you can then use
you can
towards
recycle them.
Yeah. So it's like people bring their own bottles and they just fucking leave them strewn about. So then you could do that. You can get, and then as the game goes forward, you can like hire a team to get like that does all the bottle collection for you. And from there, you also, like, as you accrue money, you can hire new DJs. And as you get new people on the island, it unlocks new songs to play on the radio during the day. And then that's like the day cycle. So then what happens during the night? Is it just you get to wander around? Maybe you can unlock story. Oh, there you go. So basically what you do during the day.
I think the night cycle is a lot more reactionary gameplay, whereas in the morning and the daytime, you get to plan things out, make like choices, get contracts, get music, things like that. I think nighttime is a much more reactionary cycle where like the biggest thing that's important at a real rager is to make sure that the rager is continuing. So it's like this whole little mini game where like you're constantly running around to make sure like all things are going well. You got to bring the jungle juice around the party now. So you run through the jungle juice, you make sure that everybody's, getting crazy and wild. It's like, I want to make sure that like the music's going good. Let me make sure that the playlist isn't going to run out of cue. So you got to run over to the DJ, see what music is queued up for the DJ set.
You got to make sure nothing's on fire, like no hazards are happening, there's no or any hazards.
If somebody's asleep on the couch, you gotta wake them up. Can't get sleepy bitch hours around here.
You can hire people to do these jobs eventually. So at the beginning of the game, it's like you have to do a lot of this shit yourself, and like the joy of growing in this game comes from being able to like get a more diverse like crew to do this party, because you're all working towards like, hey, if like I'm trying to figure out what's the goals. Like once Johnny Cat shows up, what happens? Is it like that episode of Regular Show where I don't know if you remember this, but remember that episode where they find like a bunch of soda from the 1970s and they're like, hey, we're gonna throw the best party ever, So they do like they call up a guy on from an ad on television of like Party Pete was his name, and he's like, "Hi, I'm Party Pete." And basically, when he drinks this soda, he basically becomes like a giant disco ball and just doesn't stop partying and eventually explodes. Are we working up to like, is something bad gonna happen now that the Johnny Cat has shown up? I'm trying to figure out like what's our end game.
Here's what happens. The more elements that you get to the game, the more additions, the more party, the more game there is, the more particle effects are happening, the more things are happening on in the background, the more your game is loading. I think like that the secret goal that we have is we're just trying to really slow down that processor of your game. You know what I mean? I think the rush, as we all know with any video game, we all love hit stops, right? You know, when you play a video game and you hit a crit and so your character just like kind of stays put. You know how like Kratos, when you're swinging that big axe, it hits the cool parts on the body and it stays put for like one frame and then keeps moving. You know, when you're playing Smash Bros and you hit somebody really hard and the game just like, ooh, that hit stop, that chukunk, that makes it feel so delectable. Your party's going to start to notice little hit stops. Ooh, what's that? A hit stop? It's not a hit stop. It's your computer being like, or your game system thinking like, oh God, there's a lot of stuff here.
It's chugging along.
But I want to make an entire party that feels like hit stops. And it's really just turning your game into a slideshow because of how much stuff it's trying to run all at once.
So if you manage to crash it, the game, like the whole point is you want to make a party that
the goal is to crash the game. The goal is to make a party so big and crazy that the game crashes. Once the game crashes, then you unlock Johnny Cat. Once Johnny Cat has shown up, the game changes completely. I don't know how yet. I want to put a pin in that, though.
Okay. All right, let me give you a game.
Do you have a video game for me?
Alrighty, AJ. This one comes to us on Twitter from Blue Bowser's Stan account at Koopa Kirby. Ice Climber Reboot. Give those fun kids a new game. I've never played Ice Climber, but I've seen gameplay of it. The whole point is like a platformer.
What is the gameplay of Ice Climber? Because I've got no idea.
It's like an old NES game, and basically it's like a 2-player game where you're both playing ice climbers, and you're just climbing up like a cliffside, trying to avoid things from falling on you, and just like working together to get to the top of the mountain. And I believe each level is like a longer level from the last one. What I'm thinking is Nintendo Labo has been doing piss poor performance lately. I don't know if that's actually true, but we're gonna revitalize the Nintendo Labo system, AJ. And you know what?
All right.
I don't know how often you had to do this in high school, but one bullshit thing my coach did when people were being assholes, he would make you hold weights above your head. So I remember that process. It didn't ever happen to me because I was a Goodwill boy, but I saw people doing that, and I'm like, man, that must be a fucking pain in the ass. So what if you do a game that's all about you have the Labo, and each controller goes into like a little cardboard ice pick that you have to use and put above your head. But instead of like the levels becoming more complicated of course there would be more obstacles, you would have to do certain jumps and movements, but what if like you could do a game where it becomes physically harder to play it as the game goes forward? And what I'm thinking is in this little Labo pack, you put actual like lead weights. So like every level, you have to put another piece of lead in your ice pick. So like lifting like level 1 weights versus like level 50 weights are just fucking insane. And then there's also like maybe more.
You want to do like one of those workout video games where you actually get some gains, huh? Like one of those workout games, like you know, people were all like, oh yeah, I just really like Ring Fit
Beat
Adventure
Saber.
because it helps make me work out and do good stuff, and I get good bullet points for working out and getting super strong and powerful. But like we all know, like they're just throwing their body around, whatever.
I mean,
I can stand up too.
What do you think dancing
I can jog in place.
You're throwing your body around and dancing. That's a great workout.
But
what are you talking about?
You want to create a video game where somebody says, "Oh, me? I play Ice Climbers 2021, and as such, I can bench 250."
But you know what's gonna be so funny about it is like the only thing that's gonna be fucking yoked are their like arms.
No,
Everything
because
else
we're because they're
just
also gonna have
be
to do like squats too.
well, I mean, okay, yeah, you're right. We should incorporate squats if we want to do a full body workout. But the idea of like, um, somebody doing this ice pick game or this ice climber game, and the only thing that's just fucking like yoked out of their mind is their forearms and shoulders, and just from all, and everything else is just like looks normal. But I also, you're onto something though. The idea of like a person being like there's a buddy of ours, his name's Patrick, he's an editor friend of ours. He lost a crap ton of weight, and we were like so shocked, like, hey man, whoa dude, what's your regimen? Like, what are you doing? How are you eating?
Are you good?
And he looks at us, he's
so
like,
much weight super fast.
and we ask him that, and he's like, he's super casual, he's like, I just played Beat Saber for 2 hours a day, and I just ate like shit. And I'm like, God, I wish it were that easy. But the idea of a person walking up being like just actually like yoked out of their mind, and you ask them like, oh dude, boy, whoa, what's your regimen? What are you doing? He's like,
Man, dude, your
your
traps and your biceps are
and
just
then
like
everybody's
blasted.
Like, whoa. So I'm trying to think of like, and I think I'm sorry, Bentley's just barking in the background. The bird is barking. Wow, Bentley, you're fucking losing your shit.
He's
oh my
pissed. Is there an intruder?
So how? Thank God, I don't know. He just tends to bark when it's around like at the beginning of the day, in the middle of the day, at the end of the day. You know, just periodically. But I'm trying to think, how can we make this game even more a game that should not be played? Is it like, does it become physically
I think
impossible
one step that
to
we
play
should
the
do to
game?
make sure that it's a game that shouldn't be made is, you're right, it's only arms. I think that just the idea of a video game with weight training, a gimmick game with gimmick controls specifically for weight gain for just your arms and just to really bulk up your arms specifically, I think that fits our MO of the game that shouldn't be made. I think that once we start adding in leg workouts, it becomes like kind of an interesting concept of like, oh yeah, a video game with weight training. And we don't want that around here.
Also, you know what I'm thinking too? Depending on, I don't know how much weight those cardboard Labo picks can support. So I'm envisioning that eventually the cardboard's going to give way, and all of the little lead weights in it are just going to be fucking scattered around your house like bullets, right into your TV, right into your glass cabinet where all your Gundam figures are at. And that, guess what? You need to buy a new Labo. You need to buy a new TV.
That's going to suck for someone.
It's going to suck for everybody that's watching you play this game.
I got another video game submission.
Tell me about it.
This is a lightning round submission from McBuzzer, so it'll be really quick. Lightning round submission, a head-to-head competitive cookie clicker game.
Okay.
Now,
what are
Blake,
you thinking?
I think that it is what it is. It's like a little clicker game, like a little, I guess, a QTE where you fire it up on your phone and you just start going crazy clicking on it to try to beat your opponent. I guess what my question would be for you is, what would be your tactic if I were to give you a head-to-head cookie clicker game? You and I are sitting in the room, and we're like, all right, 3, 2, 1, go. How are you going to beat me at the clicker game?
It depends. So is this just like there is a image on the screen that I have to click over and over and over again, right?
Yeah, and you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and say like it's a full like cookie clicker type thing. Like there's little upgrades that you can go ahead and purchase to like auto click or like chunk click or double click. You know what I mean?
Well, you know what?
And whoever
I
gets
am
the
not a
most
big fan of
clicks, the
cookie
most
clicker
little
game.
points
I'm
from
not,
touching or through the management is going to win.
I'm not gonna. Here's the thing. I'm not too into cookie clicker games, but you know who is? My lovely little grandpa. So I'm gonna pass him my phone. And I'm just gonna be, hey grandpa, can you help me out with this thing? I'm in a little competition right now, and I know you love like cookie clicker games. And I pass it, and he'd be like, and he would like, my grandpa's French, so my grandpa's French. So the moment I pass him, he'd be like, chocolat bleu, and he'd just like start cookie clicking like a madman.
That is something we
I'm
know
not
about
joking.
the French.
My
Their
grandpa's like
fingers
a
are
fucking
so fast.
My grandpa's addicted to cookie clicker games, and what's that other old person game he loves to play? Flash like slot machine game on Facebook. He fucking eats that shit up. So I would
I
pass
didn't know
it to
that
my
grandpa
grandpa.
plays clickers.
Yeah, my grandpa's addicted to that shit. He's like, every time, because I work for, I explain to the audience, I work for my grandparents. So like at the end of the workday, I just come and hang out with my grandpa in his office, and he's just like sitting there, just like really quiet, and then you just hear like, "You win," and just like a bunch of like slot machine style like coin effects just coming like, and he doesn't know how to control the volume, so it's always like insanely loud at the end of the day. So I would just pass him my phone. I know, it's pretty adorable.
That's a pretty good tactic.
It's a pretty good tactic. Hand it to my grandpa. What's your tactic, boyo?
So my tactic is, it would be me and you playing this game together, and my tactic is I would take the phone, and I would put the phone down towards my lap, and I would start just, tapping it and clicking it like normal. But then I would look up to you, and I would say, "Hey, Blake," and I'd say it really loud, like, "Hey, Blake," and I'd get you to look at me. And as the phone is in my lap, and I'm just like clicking with one hand, I'm going to go ahead and look you dead in the eyes and start wiggling my eyebrows really fast up and down while I'm just like down there tapping away on my lap.
Just maintaining vigorous eye contact.
Complete eye contact with you. Just eyebrows going up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. But here's the thing. I think that's the kind of shit that you're expecting from me, right? And you're going to be like, that's not going to matter to me, AJ, whatever. Because like the initial shock might slow you down, but that's not going to stop you. So here's when that happens, when I notice that the slowdown is no longer working on you, I'm going to yell your name again. "Hey, Blake Rhea." And that's going to get your attention the second time because you were able to look away. And then I'm going to stop clicking. And then I'm going to bring my hand up to my mouth, and I'm going to spit in my hand, and then I'm going to start tapping again. And at that point, you're done. I think you've stopped playing the game. You've left the room, and I'm the new champion of the clicker
Really quickly. I would love to I just want to step back and examine this whole like chain of events. So I wake up. It's a nice Sunday afternoon. My buddy AJ calls me. He's like, "Hey, do you want to come over and play a cookie clicker game with me?" Already kind of weird, but I said yes because I'm a good friend and I want to hang out. So it's just you and me, probably sitting in silence with little like click, 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 click games, and then bursting out of the silence is you screaming my fucking name for unknown reasons, and then maintaining eye contact while you're pseudo jerking off, and then we go back to silence.
Whoa!
Bullshit!
Excuse you. I'm also wiggling my eyebrows,
touching a screen.
No, I know you're right on that. I was just offended that you forgot the part where I was wiggling my eyebrows because that's the part that did it for me.
And then it just goes back to silence. So I'm sitting here like, what the fuck is happening? And then you scream my full name this time, and then you just hawk a fucking spit in your hand, and then start clicking again, and then we go back to silence. And then it's just, I have to exist, I have to pretend everything's normal.
But no, here's the thing. You don't have to pretend anything is normal because it won't be. After that, I will have asserted my dominance over you, and we will both know that I am much better at clicking based on the game.
Yeah, but at least my phone isn't covered in fucking spit that I have to put up to my ear later. At least I don't have to put a spit-covered phone in my pocket and feel like, just be like fucking gross.
So that's my... Do you have another submission for us?
Yeah, I got another game for you. I got another game. This one comes to us on our Reddit. Squid Pope. They say Dankenstein, and now I've got Cookie Clicker on the brain. So is there a way that, because Dank, I automatically think weed. Has anybody done like a Cookie Clicker weed game, but like the overall texture and theming is like of undead? Or like Frankenstein, or you are doing it from the perspective of like this is Frankenstein's workshop, and instead of trying to craft the perfect human, they're trying to craft the perfect like undead cookie clicking machine, because they are also in a situation with their friend who's challenging them to a cookie clicker contest, and he's like, my fingies aren't strong enough to beat them in a cookie clicker contest, so I'm gonna build Dankenstein so he can do the contest for me. And that's the game. So I'm wondering if
the most powerful clicking machine, he's got 18 fingers.
18 fingies. So I'm wondering if this is I'm trying to think of the layout for this game. Okay, so this is like, let's say it's a tournament style. So like this character, our Frankenstein, Dr. Frankenstein,
Dankenstein.
is like knows
we need to unpack what Dankenstein means.
Well, okay. Well, he's gonna build It's Frankenstein is building Dankenstein. So what I'm picturing is
Frankenstein's Dankenstein, as opposed to Frankenstein's monster.
Frankenstein's Dankenstein. That's a dumb name. I love it. I'm trying to think of, is this like he has poker night with a bunch of other scientists in the area, but instead of poker night, it's just them sitting in a fucking basement with like one light above them, all playing a cookie clicker game, and it's very serious. So every night he's gonna try and build a monster to take his place in this competition. So you have like 7 nights to get it right, and over the course of like these 7 nights, you unlock new body parts to put on Dankenstein, or new abilities, new brain pieces, new eyes, new clothing that makes them aerodynamic. I don't know why aerodynamic matters when you're doing a cookie clicker game. They produce more sweat, so their fingers are really slicky. He can spit not only once but like 3 times. That way he grosses everybody else out at the table.
So what you want to do is you want to do like a Frankenstein's monster version of like a resource management cookie clicker game.
I
like
guess
the theme is that you're like Frankenstein's monster, or that you're Frankenstein creating a monster.
Yeah, trying to build the ultimate being to be the best cookie clicker gamer. And you have like a certain amount of nights to do it, and I guess it could be maybe all of the other that could be kind of fun. So this could be a party game where everybody's coming to the table and trying to build their own perfect monster to do this.
A party cookie or a party clicker game. I'm into this. And so like the idea being that like you and I just set up 2 different like ideas and tactics for your clicker game. One, of course, is a little bit more psychological, and the other one is a bit cowardly, making your grandpa do all your dirty work for you. But that's fine. I'm not here to judge.
Hey, I'm here to build bonds, man. You're here to.
But there's plenty of gameplay ways that you could try to get the advantage in a cookie clicker game, right? You can either just like rely on your own personal physical stamina and just like, I'm going to click the whole way through. There's going to be some people that want to do like maybe a little bit more of an auto clicker thing. They're thinking, I need consistency. I don't need me to be doing it. And so as they go through, they're going to slowly unlock more auto clicker upgrades so that the thing will constantly be raising up the point for them. There's going to be people that want to double down on the amount of like, when I tap, I'm going to get more cookies out of my cookie click.
See, I'm thinking of like, what if we did something like this? What if we did, so like, say, let's use this in the backdrop of like a Jackbox game where it's like Drawful, where you have like a minute or so to work on your thing, and then you get another section of time that allows you to make adjustments or think of like, a line of dialogue, and then it's the actual game. So let's apply that to this. So the first minute like, is you have like a bit of parts.
These little 2-minute bursts of clicking.
Well, what I'm thinking is, this is what I'm thinking, that there will be multiple rounds to this, but let me burn through this and then we can kind of refine it or break it or whatever. So the first like minute is you have a bin of parts that you have access to. You're going to build your being, the ultimate cookie clicker thing, and after that then you can like maybe another 30 seconds of abilities. So like you have this being that has physical limitations or physical attributes. Now you can kind of assign things of like every 10 clicks you get an additional free click or whatever, so on and so forth. And then the mini game actually begins, which is the real dexterity of the players playing it, but they have all of those abilities that they crafted on their monster, giving them benefits while they're actually doing a dexterity. Like you have 30 seconds of everybody in the room needing to click, and then so that round ends. And then everybody's clicks are weighed up, like they get this is also supposed to be dank, so everybody's weed counter went up, and then now that they have you take whatever clicks. No, this is how we fucking
all
get
of the clicks go into a bank.
Yes.
In between rounds, you are given like a bunch of random possible upgrades, but you can re-roll those upgrades if you spend your cookie counter points.
Well,
or
what
your
I'm
dank
thinking
points,
is what
or
I'm
your
thinking
weed
is
points.
I think the dank points are good, but here's the thing. Here's the fucking thing that makes it interesting is that all of the clicks you get go into a bank like you said, but that if you spend them to get upgrades that help you out in the next round, that money's gone permanently. So you have to weigh this balance of like trying to be like, okay, I can only spend this much amount of money while still staying in the head, or hey, I'm just going to spend all of my money now in like a big Hail Mary to win the next round, or to potentially win the next round. So like you could do amazing for the first couple of rounds, but then like the person in last place is like, you know what? I'm in last place. I'm just going to spend all my money now for the last round, and they can come up and beat the shit out of you in the last round and take all of the dank points home. So like,
I love this idea of a competitive clicker. Yeah, the mind games, the planning. It's a little bit like one of those deck building games, you know? It's a little bit RNG based. It's a little bit of long planning based. I'm into it. I'm going to put a pin in this.
Well, I just want to touch on one more point, because building off of like your whole spit tactic, which is fucking gross. What if you can actually buy sabotages too? So it'll be like, hey, in the middle of the round, I want to buy spit take, which basically covers an opponent's screen in, like, you know, like the ink in Mario Kart where you can't quite see everything. What if it does something like that?
Yeah.
So it'll be like, or another one is like discombobulate, where like the button to click, it randomly moves on the screen. Because I'm imagining like the click button would stay in the same place for most people, but for this one, it's like, oh, it's at the bottom of the screen now. Oh, it's the top right. Oh, it got really small and went into the bottom left part of the screen now, and it like changes in size and movement, so they can't click as furiously.
Yeah, and there might be some people that like they made a build on that, right? Like their whole build was, oh yeah, I have my thing always moves on the screen, but I get like 500 clicks every time I touch it. But if they get ink spotted, now what are they gonna do? They can't see where their click button's at.
Yep. So like you have people who build like sabotage decks, like you're saying, or others who are just like all about optimization, or mind games or whatever. So okay, this is cool. Let's put a pin in this, because this is we got a lot more mileage out of that than I was expecting.
You got one more for me?
I did Dankenstein, so it's your turn, brother.
All right, I got one from but 8.3 times more Antifa at Hexavexagon. Shrek Legacy.
Okay. Where are you going with this?
As we know, I love character action games, right? I love them to death. Bayonetta, Devil May Cry, No More Heroes, Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. Name a character action game. I've probably played it. But here's something that happens in a lot of character action games. We so often get cool backflip woohoo pizza people. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
They're just like, I'm crazy, I'm stupid, I love pizza, right? Like that's basically every single one of them. Raiden, Bayonetta, Dante, they're all crazy about it. You know who doesn't like pizza very much?
I'm edgy and Shrek.
Shrek doesn't like pizza.
So
but
okay,
more importantly, Shrek can't do a backflip or a triple backflip or fast dash around the arena. But you know what game I've been chasing the high of ever since I played it as a wee lad?
What's up?
Incredible Hulk Ultimate Destruction. A character action game based around being the Incredible Hulk and having a lot of power. You could pick up anything and just throw it. You could run pretty fast, but like you weren't like doing like button combos. It was an action game in an untraditional sense. But you felt power. You felt the strength of being able to throw a dude halfway across the battle arena. I want to capture a game that gives me the raw power of Shrek.
You know what scene this reminds me of? Remember, like, the fucking WWE scene in the first Shrek
In
movie?
the first Shrek movie,
where
yeah.
he's kicking the shit out of the knights while all the root beer is just spilling.
And think about how
It's
much
just,
power
like, that
he exudes
energy.
in that scene. You know, he overpowers 4 dudes by throwing one. He Batista bombs or tombstones somebody. Just the power he has.
Okay,
He walks over
let's
to a
figure out-
giant barrel that has so much beer in it, probably, and just as naturally as one could, snaps that nozzle right off of it.
AJ, I have a little bit of a add-on to you. So this is like the power of Hulk. So you can go around, you can jump real
it's the power
far,
of
you can
Shrek.
throw things real. Well, I'm just saying it's like that example that you gave, where it's like you can move around really fast, you can destroy shit, you can destroy enemies really fast. But it has the destruction physics of Gorilla. What's it called? Is it just called Gorilla?
Red Faction?
Red Faction
Gorilla, the
So
game on Mars?
Literally everything you can see in this world is destructible. Every person,
and grabbable
every
and
building,
throwable.
So it's just basically, is this before Shrek like levels out and meets the love of his life and has 3 kids? Is this like him and his like his ogre heyday of just causing fucking destruction and a mess? Or is this like you're playing through all of the
I want
events
this
of the
to
movies?
be Shrek Legacy Origins. I want this to be the introduction of Shrek. I want this to be how Shrek got his bad reputation. This is Shrek. He was still doing good. I don't know what his for the greater good mission is necessarily, but he's definitely a bit of an anti-hero, right? I think that he's going to do good, but he's going to do a lot of property damage. But this is going to be the game about like how Shrek. You know what? We all seen the first Shrek movie. I think we're all grown up enough to admit he's got a pretty bitchin' pad, right? Homie's got hot tub. Homie's got nice outdoor shower with a view. He's got a pretty decent kitchenette. He's got his own farm in the backyard. He's got a fancy outdoor toilet for when he's outside and he's outside doing his outside stuff. And then he's like, I need to use the potty. So he goes to an outdoor toilet. That's bitchin'. That's a kick-ass pad.
Listening to nightlife while I'm going to the bathroom would be pretty. That sounds pretty relaxing.
And most importantly, he's got that boulder. And it is a nice boulder.
So
I want this to be the video game. I want this to be like a character action, semi-open world, entirely destructible environment where like as you go through the story, kind of like Tony Hawk Underground or Tony Hawk American Wasteland. That's what I'm thinking of. You would hit story points where like you would get something new and cool for your skate park. I want this to be the game that is how Shrek went on his horrible, youth-filled, powerful, greater good journey to put down some sort of evil god king and also increase and grow his cool pad.
Okay, so I love the energy you're coming at with this. So basically, let's say there is a kingdom that is near him that is doing bad things, so we don't feel bad about destroying this fucking kingdom because it's like a kingdom
some guys
full
probably
of,
like thinking he's like some sort of like god
like,
king. He has like the greater good over all things. He can control like total bad pyramid scheme.
Let me ask you, would it be weird if it was another ogre, because I feel like
it has to be another ogre because I want it to be a cool action game where you and another enemy are like each grabbing pieces of the environment to throw at each other. That rules.
Well, also, like, I think a trend in a lot of character action games is that their main enemy or rival is basically themselves, but just
we need a homoerotic rival character that matches us blow for blow. You're so right.
I'm happy you went that route.
That's what they all have. That's what they all have.
Hold on, Travis Strikes Again. Like, is there like I don't know if there's like a relationship there because he like did kill that dude's daughter, and that's like,
Batman. Okay, yeah. It's still a homoerotic rival character. Travis Touchdown and bad guy. Sure, I'll give it to him.
Really? Like, I that's a hard one to believe. Like, I believe it with like the dudes from Yakuza. Like, it's there, it's obvious. But like, this dude killed this other dude's kid. And I just don't buy that
here's the
guy
thing.
would
Here's the
like him.
thing. No joke. I do believe that in the next No More Heroes game, we'll have a homoerotic rival character, and it will be the main villain because No More Heroes the Switch game Travis Strikes Back had a character that was introduced that was like this rival, will they, won't they be friends character. And then he's in the No More Heroes 3 animated trailer that feels like a movie. That character, Davis, is the character that the alien that will be the new main villain is best friends with. Yeah, I pay a lot of attention to the No More Heroes lore. Leave me alone. Don't talk to me about
it. Okay. That's a game. Can I give you one more lightning round one? And
yes.
We can then go in, because we had a little bit of a strange recording problem earlier today. All right, this one comes to us on Twitter from Drew Davenport at @the_Davenporter. Honey, I shrunk the Dark Souls. All right, so there's two ways we can look at this. Is this just going to be Dark Souls but smaller, or is this you or the enemy is much smaller than the other one? Because like I'm trying to figure out, how do we take Dark Souls but shrink it and make it somewhat funnier? And I'm thinking it's either you are a character, oh no, here's the thing. So this is how it's going to be. So you remember in Mario 64 there was the like the whole idea of you jumping through paintings was like how you got into levels and stuff like that. There was
and there was the one level where you jumped through a painting and like it was 3 paintings, and if you jumped in the left one you were really small, if you jumped in the right one you were really big, and if you jumped in the middle one you were normal sized. It's a really cool level in Mario 64.
Well, it's actually that you were the same size. It's just that the level itself got bigger or smaller. So I'm wondering if you go through this game where you have to like guesstimate, okay, what size do I need to be to take on this fight? Like, do I need to be big or small? Like, of course, there's only going to be certain like walkways or areas that are only accessible when you are big. When you are like smaller size, but by being smaller,
and you
are
a
more
Dark Souls
susceptible
game where you
to
can
damage
kind of
in this
choose
area.
whether or not you're going to be big, small, or medium.
I mean, I feel like in this, you got to think in extremes, because that's kind of like normal. Normal is relative. Like you can be small, but then you're going up against enemies that are also small, and that's like you could call that normal. So I'm trying to think of like,
my
is
pitch.
Mm-hmm.
What if it was Dark Souls, but all the enemies were smaller?
Would that be as hard?
Yes, it would be, because I want to take us back to one of my favorite boss fights, maybe in any video game, and that's the boss fight of Ornstein and Smo. Now, Ornstein and Smo, for those uninitiated, is imagine if you were attacked by 2 best friends, like just the tightest best friends. Like you're running through, you're collecting
it's just
armor.
you and me, dude. And
then all of a sudden you get to this.
You're the small.
I'm the small
like
one.
Being attacked.
And then you get to this room where you're like, all right, here's the boss fight, and 2 dudes show up, and the 2 dudes is like this one really, really big rotund guy with a big hammer, and then a small dude with a cool spear and a really, really, really dope set of armor. And you're like, oh, there's 2 of them,
bro.
And then they knuckle touch each other, and then they each Fortnite dance, and then they say, and then they look at each other and they say, I love you very much, and the other one's like, I love you even more. You're like a brother to me, and like, bro, you're like my brother to me. And then they're like, yeah, I love you so much, Ornstein or Smo. I don't know which one I am. And then they do another dance, and then they knuckle touch one more time. And then they look at the main character and they say, we're going to kill you now. It's the coolest boss fight ever.
Just fucking rains lightning and fire, and there's just so much going on in that fight.
The problem with that fight is you kill one of them and then the other one goes Super Saiyan and beats your ass even harder. It's so cool and so good, and so, again, that's like one of my favorite boss fights ever. But what if, hear me out, what if you entered through that fog door in Dark Souls, you entered the fog door and you're like, boss fight time. And instead of like the 3-story tall Ornstein and the same height as you, Smo, what if they were like toddler sized? And you were running around the battlefield trying desperately not to get attacked by them, but they're just like little dudes. Like they're just itty bitty, like little waist high little guys. And you're just running around panicked.
How does that complicate? Because like that doesn't, I don't know if that emphasizes like the
visual comedy is a thing, Blake Rea.
It is a thing, but I feel like it needs to play a role like gameplay wise. Is it like, you have to fight. Do they change sizes throughout the fight, and that makes like each phase is like them at different sizes? Is it like depending on their size, do they do more damage? Do
Nope,
they do less damage?
Honey, I shrunk the Dark Souls. It's all small now.
It's just Dark Souls smaller. That's real comedy gold there, AJ. We're really fucking trying and putting effort into that.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you.
No, we gotta think of, I don't know, we gotta add something to it. We can't just like read people's submissions. What are we, like YouTubers who read just the Reddit? Like, and then
okay,
like,
okay, you got me. All right, you got me.
And I don't want to shit on those people. Those people do good work. I love you, Starro TV.
No, I do it. Gentleman. Fuck you, Jax Films. Reading people's comments, whatever.
I mean, we gotta evolve it. You know what I mean?
I can read typos too. I can read typos too. Just let me read my DMs to people, the things that I send to other people.
Well, your DMs aren't that bad. You get like
I typo in every. I cannot go one conversation without 3 typos.
I don't want to say you're wrong, but you're not right. I mean,
bro, my last job, my boss got in trouble. My boss like had to pull me aside and talk to me because I had so many typos in Slack. He was like, "You really need to work on those typos in Slack." And I'm like, "It's a private channel. No one sees it. It's like the 4 of us, dude."
It's like...
So,
okay. I think maybe it's in each level.
How does shrinking and growing get funny?
I don't think it's that it's necessarily funny. I think it's more of like you have access to different things, like different pathways, and maybe you have to be. Oh, here's the thing. Like, you have to be small for this boss fight because you can't get to the area of the boss fight without being in the small position. So it's like it forces you, or maybe what you can do is like maybe there are a limited amount of potions you can get. So instead of Ember in this game, it's like actually wait, AJ.
There it is. Yes. There's no humanity, right? There's dead and alive in the Dark Souls games, and it sucks shit. But in this game, there's big, small, and smaller. And you get changed when you die. And so if you're like, I want to go into this zone, you have to go die 2 times. And so now you're constantly playing this game of chicken where you don't want to lose all of your fun resources if you die 2 times in a row, but you do know that you need to die 2 times in a row so that you can get into a different path. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, how would I, if I wanted to go back 1 size, how would I get there? You die 2 times. There's no way to change your size without dying.
Oh, there's not a potion you can pick up when you get a boss?
Fuck
maybe?
no.
Because like
Nope.
Really? Okay, so I feel like that's a core thing of like Dark Souls is like either getting the Ember or getting the humanity soul thing. So I'm wondering
because
if,
I want this to be only a punishment. Well, it's only a punishment, so you can change.
Okay, how about this? When you beat a boss, you grow in size. So it'll be like when you beat a boss, it's just an instant effect on you, or something like that.
Okay, I'll give you that, but.
And your damage scales with what size you are. Like, that has to be like, if you're full grown size, you do full power swings. But if you're a small little teeny knight, you do piddly ass damage. So there will just be some boss fights where you're like, I have to just fucking do this boss fight at 1/3 of my power level.
I have to do it at tiny mode. Yeah, I like that.
See, this is what I mean. We gotta evolve it. We gotta build. We gotta be craftsmen. We gotta be game designers, man. We can't just steal ideas from other people.
Fair enough. You got me. You caught me being lazy. I'll own that.
All right. What's our nug, brother?
Can it be the clicker game?
Which one? Because there's the spin clicker that you did.
I assumed that we combined them, if I'm being entirely honest.
Oh, okay. So we'll give it to both of those submitters then. Okay, yeah, I'm down. So it's Dankenstein. So we have our competitive party game clicker.
It's Dankenstein's plural workshops. And it's a competitive clicker game where you and up to 7 friends can all sit down and do a competitive clicker game against each other.
With like
There's
Hades
a
style,
day-night
like random
cycle,
roll
or there's like
power-ups that you can
a
buy.
round system.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a round cycle where between rounds you can purchase upgrades for the clicker mini game. Those power-ups are given to you randomly, but also you can use your points to re-roll, or you can use your points to purchase attack moves. Then when you move into the clicker game, it's just a clicker game to try to round up as many points or to sabotage your friends. Now, it will be house rules. It's going to be all part of the PSA when you fire up the game that psychological warfare and physical warfare by shoving your competitors is allowed explicitly. That's in the rules. You are allowed to push and shove and scar and maim and harm.
Interesting.
Otherwise,
Okay.
I want this because when this comes to the pros, I want it to be a contact sport. You know what I mean? I want it to be a real sport. I don't want, I don't want like, I don't want like, the like, oh, it's not a real sport. People that hate on esports to look at this game and be like, well, it's not a real esport, because there will be in the pros a ref and full contact. You click so good, you click better than all of your friends and your foes, and you win. Dankenstein's workshops. The clicker game.
I wanna build on this a little bit. So,
okay.
Two ideas. Is this like what's that one, Crypt? Remember that game where you can like pick your god that gives you certain abilities out of the gate?
Crawl. Yes, Crawl
the
competitive dungeon crawler wherein one player plays a hero and the three other players play monsters, and the monsters that the players play as are chosen at the very beginning because they pick a certain god and that unlocks certain monsters.
So what if we did that?
I just wanted to give a little bit of background
pick...
on that game because it rules, and I'm worried that not enough people know about it.
We need to play that game again soon. God, that might actually make a fun BF4 now that I think about it. But another time. So what I'm thinking is what if you pick a character class or a monster class of like, hey, I'm going to play the Cthulhu-based monster. Hey, I'm going to play the werewolf-themed monster. Hey, I'm going to play like Frankenstein or Dankenstein. So you're playing different monsters which have access to different like physical attributes or body parts that you have access to in your bin. They have certain they have certain abilities that are locked off to a class.
I'll do you one better than class-based choices. How about we do a little bit of DLC, baby? Microtransactions. You purchase the new monster, you get new parts and abilities thrown into your game.
Ooh, okay, I like this.
Think of them as expansions for the game rather than class choices.
No, you're right.
Booster packs, maybe.
I've been playing so much fucking Arkham Horror the card game, and like the thing you just pitched is, yeah, that's how that game works. Is like, well, yeah, if you want to continue playing the game and building up your deck and going through the story, you just got to buy a booster pack every month. Like, you can't play anything without buying the booster pack. So it's just, I hate that system, but also it works perfectly for our game. Okay, so do these booster packs come with like character cards or class cards, or is just like you can use any card like digital wise? This could even be a physical game, honestly. I don't see why it couldn't.
Because it's a digital clicker. What do you mean? How would it?
Oh, that's right. Oh, you're right. Where did I? Man, I didn't think that through properly.
I imagine them to be like we'll announce like, oh, it's season of the Mummy, and then people have to give us like $4 for the Mummy pass, and then like mummy abilities, mummy skills, and mummy like texture things will be added to the pool of parts that they can add to their to their Dankenstein's monster.
Ooh, and what might be kind of cool too is that each person can also pick like a workshop card or theme where it's like,
if you buy the DLC, if you buy the Mummy expansion, then you can just like retexture what your phone and what your clicker looks like. It's a little skin for your phone.
Well, what I'm thinking it might be kind of cool too is that it could also have like hey, you have the pyramid workshop versus like the default is like Frankenstein's workshop. Frankenstein's workshop comes with like, hey, every 20 cookies you make, it generates a +1 free of charge. But like the Egyptian workshop is like, hey, every 20 cookies you do, somebody else gets automatically sabotaged for just without you having to click the sabotage button.
Okay.
Like just like
so
each
you're
workshop
proposing
comes
a little
with its
bit
own
of like
little
the
perks.
Yeah, the heroes system from the Hearthstone, right? Something like that. Like you have like a chosen champion or whatever that is a passive that you get by equipping this.
Yeah, exactly. Passive
Okay.
is exactly, yeah, it's perfect. It's perfect.
You
Um,
know what? I do like that, and we can release a couple of those every season or so.
yeah, well, I mean, I'm imagining it would come with like the season. If it's like the season of the mummy, it's gonna release its own, like, you're gonna have your own mummy body parts. But also you're gonna have like a workshop that releases with it, and then you have the season of the vampire, which is gonna be like Dracula's Tower or something. It'll be like your base of operations cards that you can
Yeah.
choose.
Okay. Yeah, I could dig that.
So, and also, is there an idea of, do you get minions over time? Like, can you get more people clicking passively other
Yeah,
than
yeah, yeah.
just you? Or
That's part of those upgrades that you can get, right? Like the idea being that
Mhm,
like the two phases is the clicker and then the shop. When you go into the
mhm,
shop, there's all sorts of upgrades you can get. Maybe it's extra fingers, and those would be the auto clickers. Maybe you can get
mhm, mhm.
minions, and the minions would be people like if you buy a minion or two, then maybe the minions on a faster cooldown, they'll go out and they'll steal dank points from other competitors. Maybe
Oh,
I think that the way
ooh,
it can operate is there's parts that will come from the conveyor belt that you can re-roll if you want, and those would be more of like the click gain stuff. More points, backup points, changing the way the clicker works, and then
mhm,
the actual items that you can purchase are at the second
mhm.
part of the shop, and that's where you get the ink splot, that's where you get the click mover, that's where you get the bomb, things like that.
No, I feel you. I think this game's good. I don't necessarily see how we can integrate a boss fight into it this week.
I'm not seeing it
Because
either.
Yeah, because it's just more of like you're building the characters, and it's your friends that are like that you are fighting, and
Well, then
this
I
is
think
just
that's a game,
obvious.
isn't it?
That's a fucking game, dude. Are we ready for patch? Oh wait, no, we're calling it. You're calling it Dankenstein's Workshop, right?
Dankenstein's workshops, plural. I want to lean into the plural togetherness of it.
Why? Oh, because it's a
Because I want
versus
to make
thing.
sure
Yeah,
people understand
yeah,
it's a versus
yeah.
game.
No,
Yeah.
I feel you. I feel you, dude. Hell yeah, that's a game, dude. Are we ready for patch notes?
That's a game and I'm ready for patch notes. Let's go. Hey everybody, welcome to Patch Notes. Really quick, there's no jokes here. We need to talk seriously about this. Today is January 10th, and 4 days ago, on January 6th, a group of Trump supporters stormed the National's Capitol and attempted to stop our democracy. That's not exaggeration, that's not hyperbole, that is exactly what happened. And worse, there were people,
Mhm.
political figures, that pushed and allowed, if not assisted, in making this happen. That sucks shit. And it's probably the worst thing that I've seen happen to America in my life. One of the most concerning things about it is that a lot of those political figures that kind of pushed for this to happen could get off scot-free. Now, there are congressmen and women that are trying to do something about it. They're trying to hold these people accountable. Please,
Mhm.
if you can, call your state representative and demand action is taken.
Mhm. I understand a lot of our listeners aren't based in the United States, so this is definitely something a little bit more targeted towards people right here. But right now is really the time to be informed and be keeping up on this. It's very scary. Like, luckily, it didn't get as bad as it could, but there is a world that exists where it could have been really fucking bad. And I think also, building off of what AJ was saying, this event shows so many cracks in our system, specifically with like the BLM movement. Like, you know, BLM protesters were peacefully there, like, what, 5 6 months ago, and they were treated completely differently. And this shows even further just the racism and awful fucking systematic shit we have going on in our country right now. So I think it's really, really important to do some reading, keep informed, go watch some news, and call your state representatives with the knowledge that you now have. It's very important. And I know we are two chuckle fuck dudes on the internet, but like, this is something we care about. This is something we stand with, and we want to see the world be a better place. And I don't think that can happen until people that pulled their shit 4 days ago are held
Yeah.
accountable.
I don't I don't want to see this normalized in the way that I feel like we've had to see a lot of horrible shit normalized in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
School shootings
Yep.
in America were just sort of normalized for us. Whatever.
Yeah.
Companies destroying unions was just sort of normalized for us. Whatever. Our president requesting violence against people he didn't agree with was just sort of normalized, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't want to see this also normalized. That would... Anyway,
It sucks.
Yeah. What
AJ
Blake
and I are
was
getting
saying,
a little bit heated.
Stay informed.
Yeah, we're getting a little bit heated.
Stay
We're
updated.
gonna...
Demand
Yeah.
action.
All right. All of you stay safe out there. The
Thank
world
you all
is-
so much for listening. Sorry to end it on a bummer note. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's real life, man. You know, like they're bigger shit than our podcast. So I think it's important for us to say something, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you all for listening. We hope that a little bit of you get a little bit of positivity from us just joking about dumb shit. We're really happy that you guys are here with us.
As always, our intro and outro music is Cheap Shot by Anamanaguchi, an excellent song from an excellent band for an excellent game. I've been your host, AJ Hart.
I have been your other host, Blake Rea.
This has been Spiritual Successor, and these are cool games.
That should not be made. Stay safe out there.